You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account. From Apple to VIX and everything in between, if it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report. And now, get ready to scan the tape for the most explosive options activity on the street. It's time for the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody. That music means it is time for your Hot Options Report for Wednesday, October 1st, shutdown day here in the U.S., even though you wouldn't really know it if you just looked at the markets. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks are binging and mainlining these days. Remember, a couple of things to kick us off here. A, if you're just listening to the Hot Options Report, we love you. Make sure you subscribe to the full network. Over a dozen shows coming at you. And of course, if you want to go above and beyond, pro Q&As, giveaways, options oddities, exclusives, all sorts of fun. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go to learn more. Now, if you're listening to this show, chances are that you're pretty serious about options trading. So let me put something on your radar. Public. It's the most cost-effective way to trade options. That's because Public is the only platform that gives you rebates on your options trades. They also have some of the industry's lowest index options fees, whether you're placing single leg or complex multi-leg trades. Every dollar counts. Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Again, the Hot Options Report brought to you by Public. Full disclosures in the podcast description. All right, let's get down to business. Let's kick things off in VIX land, listeners. VIX managing to close pretty much unchanged on the day, which is kind of interesting. Most of the day it was actually in the red, which again, kind of a surprise to some folks out there, given the fact that we are indeed in day one of a potential, who knows how long, government shutdown out there, listeners. Also surprising, VIX not really amounting to much yet again. You'd think maybe a little bit of a shutdown would put a little bit of juice into the old VIX machine, but not today. Only 406,000 contracts on the tape. VIX can't be bothered with a government shutdown. The ADV 789, so falling back below 800K. The hot option out there, 19,000 of the October 30s. Average price about 31 cents. That looks like shutdown type paper to me. Then again, there is OI on that strike, so they could be closing. VIX going out today, 1629. As we keep on rolling out to the land of SPY, more impressive day out there in SPY today, listeners. Once again, we've been saying that a lot. SPY and SPX versus VIX. SPY putting up 8.56 million contracts. That's against an ADV of about 8.28. So coming in a little heavy today. SPY closing 668.45, up about 0.33%. Again, you would never know we were in the midst of a shutdown given some of these numbers I'm going to run down for you today, listeners. And the hot option out there in SPY land today, listeners, was the 667 call going up 413,000 times today. Average price for these, 63 cents. Looks like they went out pretty good, listeners. So if you bought those for that average price, rode them into the close, you probably had a decent day as we keep on rolling out to the S. The S also rallying about 0.33%, closing just north of 6,700 in the SPX, listeners. 6711.2 to be precise. Was it a hot day in the SPX? The answer was it was pretty decent. About 4.5 million contracts against an ADV of about 4.25. So coming in a little heavy in the SPX as well. And the hot option out there, 152,000 of these 6720s. Average price for those about $1.25. Again, we close a little bit light of that strike in the cash. If you bought those and rode them through the close, probably a bit of a challenging day, even though you did have some opportunities to get out earlier in the session. As we keep on rolling out to small caps, listeners, small caps closing today just a tick below 242.5, up about 0.25% out there as well today. Threatening 1 million contracts in small caps today, 980,000. The ADV almost 1.6 million. So coming in a little light in small caps. The hot option out there, 98,000 of the 242 calls. Average price for these, 38 cents. So these look pretty decent going out nearly 242.5, listeners. As we keep on rolling out to the Qs. Was it a banger day in the Qs? The answer was it was about in line with expectations, maybe a little light. 4.16 million contracts changing hands in the NASDAQ today against an ADV of about 4.3 million. The Qs closing a little bit north of 603, about 603.25, popping about 0.5% out there in the NASDAQ. Again, shut down. What shut down? The hot option on the Qs today, 211,000 of the 600, the par puts. Interesting. Average price for these, 62 cents. Obviously went out 603.25. So if you rode these bad boys into the close after buying them for that average price, not a great day, but an interesting one. You had some opportunities to maybe get these off earlier in the day as well. Let's keep on rolling out to single name land. What does a government shutdown, how does that impact single name options? The answer was it put a little bit more meat on the bone today, but not a ton. 621,000 contracts going up for our number 10 spot today. That gets us to the Amazonians, closing 220.63, up about 0.5% today, listeners. And the hot option out there, 43,000 of the 222.5. So that 5 times fast, listeners. 222.5 calls. Expiring on Friday, of course. Average price for these, about $1.44. These have a little ways to go, listeners. Can we get there by Friday? We shall see as we keep on climbing up the list to number 9. It's the artist formerly known as Facebook. Closing today, 717 1/3, putting up 640,000 contracts for the number 9 spot. And the hot option out there in Meta today, 23,000 of these 715s. Now, you might say these are looking pretty good, and you'd be right, but then again, the average price of these was about $9. So they have a little ways to go by Friday's close, listeners. Can we get there? 724 by Friday if you're buying these bad boys? We shall see. As we keep on rolling to number 8, it's open. Again, we've said many times we could play a whole game on the network. Just where did open close today? Today, the answer is $8.06. Kind of unched on the day, which is surprising for open. Putting up 646,000 contracts for the number 8 spot. The hot option out there, 91,000 of the 9 calls. Average price for these, about 23 cents. Can we get back to a 9 handle by Friday? I guess we shall see, listeners. As we keep on rolling to number 7, it's the monster. 338.41 is where it closed, up about 5%. So a good day for the monster, a.k.a. MicroStrategy, a.k.a. Strategy. Putting up 741,000 contracts. The hot option out there, the 340s, $6.46. Again, they're not giving these away. So if you bought these, listeners, they're looking good, but you need to run a little more for these bad boys to maintain that value through the end of the week. As we keep on rolling to number 6, it's SMCI. 52.40 is where this name closed, popping nearly 10% today, about 9.5% or about 4.5 handles. So a good day for SMCI. 831,000 contracts changing hands today, and the hot option out there, 86,000 of the 52 calls. These are looking pretty good. They're obviously 40 cents in the money right now. Average price for these, 57 cents. So those are looking pretty good out there, listeners. As we keep on rolling to number 5, it's the Fruit Company, closing 255.45 today, putting up 887,000 contracts on the tape. And the hot option out there, 162,000 of the 260s. That seems like a wild strike, but Apple's been on the run of late. Average price for these, about 92 cents. Obviously, we need Apple to get in gear by the end of the week if you're going to threaten, let alone close above that 260 strike, listeners. As we keep on rolling to number 4, it's Pfizer. They burst onto our list yesterday, cutting a deal to sell low-cost drugs with the government out there yesterday in return for some reduced tariffs, putting up nearly 1.2 million popping nearly 7%, closing 27.21 today. Again, putting up 1.06 million contracts in Pfizer, and the hot option out there, about 46,000 of the 26.5 calls, listeners. Average price for these, 38 cents. Doesn't take an options genius out there to do the math and realize those are looking pretty good right now if you bought them. As you keep on rolling out to number 3, listeners, it's Intel, hovering a little bit shy of $36 right now, $35.94, up another 7% today, listeners. Just continuing to run out there, putting up nearly 1.2 million contracts. The hot option in Intel today, 57,000 of the 35s. You know the deal. They close 94 cents on the money, so if this average price is below that, you're probably looking pretty good. And that average price, 76 cents. You are a winner chicken dinner on these bad boys, listeners. As we keep on rolling to number 2, it's NVIDIA. Yes, number 2, NVIDIA. 187.21 is where it closed today. Up a little bit less than 0.5%, putting up nearly 2.5 million contracts. So a light day movement-wise and volume-wise for NVIDIA. And the hot option out there on a light day in NVIDIA, a little bit shy of 250,000, 242,000 of the 190s. Average price for these, about 94 cents. So looks like if you're buying these, you want NVIDIA to hit some new all-time highs before the end of the week. It's been flirting with a few of those this week. Can it keep it up? We shall find out as we keep on rolling to the big dog. Yeah, it's Tesla taking the top spot again, ever so slightly, 2.51 million contracts. So just a hair ahead of NVIDIA today. Closing today, $459.46, rallying another nearly $15, or about 3.33%. So another strong up day for Tesla. We were just talking about the 440s, how outlandish those seemed last week. Those now well in the rearview mirror, closing again, $459.46 today. And the hot option out there today, listeners, 88,000 of the 460s. Again, absolutely wild strikes. Average price for these, $8.78. They're effectively the at-the-money strike right now, listeners. So if you're buying these, you need Tesla to keep the run going through the end of the week. Unfortunately, no more show going for the hot options report today. We'll be back tomorrow on the network with the option block, talking all sorts of flow. So if you like this show, listeners, it is an entire segment on the option block. So you should be checking it out. Yet another reason why you should be subscribed to the full network. And then, of course, back again for This Week in Futures Options tomorrow before we're back after the closing bell. Another episode of the Hot Options Report. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in podcast description.